record on this computer. Welcome, everybody. I'm sitting here with Sara Okroi from Sisseton, South Dakota. And today we're going to talk a little bit about her small business story. But Sara, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a North Dakota girl living in a South Dakota world. Should sing that. I don't know how it would go, but we could figure it out. Grew up just about 30 miles south of Fargo. Long story short, ended up with a degree from Moorhead and ended up in South Dakota with my husband. And started a nonprofit in 2011. I got a master's degree and a PhD, and somewhere along the line thought maybe a coffee shop would be a good idea. I don't know how that worked out, but it was a good idea. And it was one of those things that was kind of a stress reliever for me. And it has just grown into something that is fun, for one thing, but is really something that we're proud of.
So let's talk about that coffee shop, because this is the small business story of yours that we're going to share with you today. Mm-hmm. Tell me how you started. What gave you the idea of a coffee shop, first of all?
You know, I did youth development. I have done youth development for years, and I always told those kids, I'm going to have a coffee shop. I kept saying, yeah, do it, you know. And I was kind of joking with them, you know. And then one day somebody said, oh, hey, somebody has a coffee shop for sale. And not a coffee shop per se, that it's a building and it, you know, it is what it is, but one of those little shacks that you kind of see scattered around the country. And long story short, we ended up with it. And because of the connections that I had made from nonprofit work, we were able to find somebody to connect with us and allow us to put it in their parking lot. And
let me stop you there.
Yep.
Did you have to take out an SBA loan? I mean, how were you able to make that happen, that you even got it?
Nobody would give us any money. Sisseton is a town of about 2,200. We are located in that corner where North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota meet. We're kind of in that corner. Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate. The Lake Traverse Reservation is kind of surrounding us, patchwork through. And so there's an influx of people kind of around us. I think the county says is about 10,000. But our little area is maybe 5, but the town is about 2. And when we went to go talk to those lending institutions, they said it wouldn't work. My options were to put and I think we were asking for $15,000. It wasn't something, you know, huge, but they wanted a second mortgage on my house, and they wanted all of these things, and we just weren't going to do that. And I mean, luckily for us, the gal who owned it had taken a job in Alaska, and she really needed to get rid of it. And so she offered to contract it for us, and we would pay it over 3 years and give her a percentage of our income as interest. And so that's what we did. So we did that, and we put all our cash together. I have myself and my husband, and then I have another business partner. And so there was, you know, 2 major parties involved, but 3 people. So we put our money together, and we pieced it together, and it was touch and go for a couple of years, but we survived. And looking back, you know, you want to be successful right away, but I'm glad we weren't, because we took things very small and very small steps, and we became good at them. And now we're ready for, you know, where we're at now, which is we're fairly busy.
So you went from this coffee shack, and they're all over in Alaska for sure. One of my favorite places to go was for coffee in the morning when I was up there, and a bagel as big as your head. So I can envision exactly what it looks like. And shack is a bad word, because it's
the shack.
It runs all year round. So, you know, you're heated and you're cold and you're comfortable as well. So you did that for how many years?
We did that from June of 2015 until my husband was deployed the second time in 2018. So.
And what happened then?
Well, the summer before, we had thought, oh, we're kind of good at this. We should buy another business. And we ended up buying a little burger business that was a summertime only business with ice cream and all of that. And we had to make some choices. My husband is the maintenance arm. And with him being gone, it was just one of those things. I was never going to survive it with my sanity. With him being gone, 2 businesses, a full-time job, PhD program, and 3 children.
Oh
And
my.
and so, yeah, we had to make some choices, and that was when we decided that we were going to push the burger and the ice cream business out, and we were going to move our shop in. And so we called up my brother-in-law, who's a contractor, and he knocked the whole front of the building off, and it had an awning, and we pushed the awning out so that you could drive under it, and instant drive-through.
Perfect. So did the awning go over the street or over the sidewalk, or was it on the side by the alley? How did that work?
It was always just over the little bit over the front of the building, and so it was just a little bit. So they literally just extended it out, and now you can drive under it.
That's awesome. And that was in 2018, right?
And that was we opened that in November of 2018, right before he left in December.
Okay. And he's home now, correct?
He came home at the end of October.
Well, God bless. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Talk about these small steps you referred to, because first of all, I know that you decided that you were going to do the coffee business at the very beginning. Knowing you, I'm imagining you did a lot of research on that.
I did, but I never drank coffee ever in my life. So I just kind of thought it was a good idea.
Okay. It's good. I like coffee, so I'm glad that, that you did that for when I come to visit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're better off now than you were, 5 years or 4 years ago. But
and what kind of, how did you do you do food out of there too, or just snacks, or what do you do?
We're toying with it. We do breakfast. We get that catered from a restaurant, local restaurant, and so they bring us breakfast sandwiches and breakfast burritos every morning. We get cookies and brownies and Rice Krispie bars from them.
So now, do you partner with them, or is it you're buying from them and reselling? You're buying wholesale and reselling.
We buy from them and resell that, and they buy our coffee. And so it's kind of one of those. It's not traded. We actually pay, but they support us. We support them.
It's a real partnership. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's another small step. Keep going.
Yep.
So you're doing breakfast for sure, sandwiches and that kind of thing.
I have messed with lunches a little bit. We were doing just quick $5 soups and sandwiches. I could make those in an Instant Pot, that kind of thing. But I'm too busy. Until I can step out of my job and kind of be there more full time, it's too hard for me to jump back and forth between my office and the business to create lunches. And
so this is perfect, because this is taking that small step to see if it'll work. So you tried it out, you tested it, you found that it might work, but it won't work for you because you don't have the time for it.
It doesn't work for me. It will work. It just needs a little tweaking.
And that's why you do those small steps, to actually see if they will work and see how your time frame is, and if your market likes it, all of that, instead of investing in a huge panini maker and all the equipment and find out it doesn't work. So I'm glad to hear that. Do you do afternoon snacks? I think you said you do, right?
Well, we have the brownies and the cookies and just little grab and go items. The only issue I've ever had with having just a drive-through is that you have to be so creative with your marketing, because there's no real impulse point of sale purchase. And
gotcha.
So
okay.
You have to be careful, because if people are more apt to buy something if it's right there. And so when it gets hot out, we don't sell as many cookies or brownies because we can't have them outside on our little shelf, right?
Right.
Because they melt.
And believe it or not, it does get hot in South Dakota. So
it does. And we're looking forward to that right now. But
I think we all are, my dear.
But yeah, so we've always had to be kind of more direct with our marketing. And so, if you ever look at our coffee, the business is called 3 Bean Coffee Company. my business partner and I have kind of a quirky sense of humor. I have to tame him down. His is a little bit more naughty than mine, but you know, our labels for our coffee are kind of fun. We have, you know, Mom Sanity and a picture of a mom pulling her hair out, and you know, Dirty Irishman, because who doesn't need one of those, right?
Yeah. Whatever's in it. I like the kilts are flying. You said you had one about flying kilts or
Oh,
something.
a drafty kilt, you know, and the guy has his kilt kind of up, and that's a Highlander grog. And so we're try to be a little bit fun with our labels, so that we're definitely not serious in that respect, because that's really where our personality kind of shines.
So are you roasting your own coffee?
We do not roast it. We blend it ourselves.
Okay.
Flavor and blend, package, label, all of that ourselves. But
do you ship?
We do ship.
So at the end of this conversation, I'm going to have you share how people can get in touch with you. So you said marketing had to be a little more direct. I know that you have worked in your local community and developed relationships. Talk to us how doing that one thing has made a difference in this time of turmoil we're going through.
I think that before you even concentrate on making a dollar, you need to make connections. And because I had worked in a nonprofit for so long, and my job was to make connections, whether it be with youth or with their parents or with other businesses, and trying to, you know, develop that, people started to know me and kind of know that I'm okay. Even though my people aren't buried in Sisseton, which is, you know, that's home, you know, where your people are buried, I'm okay, even though I'm not from there, which is a big deal in small towns.
In most small towns, yes, it is.
And so that really made it better for us. And so I've always been really deliberate about making those connections. The downside, and we all have always told our employees this, is that between my business partner and myself, almost everybody knows us. And so if something goes wrong, we're going to know probably within a matter of minutes, because somebody will get a hold of us. But we are very careful and very, we push customer service pretty hard, and those connections. And the connections, and we felt this last year when we had a huge construction project come through town, huge. I mean, it cut off. I had one point for 3 days, I had zero access to my business, none. I was blocked off from every direction until I started screaming and called the Department of Transportation. But anyway, another story. And it just made it very, very difficult for people to get to us. There are 2 franchise restaurants across the street from us, and they closed for a while because there just wasn't traffic. I'm pretty careful about not having a whole lot of overhead. You know, our building isn't anything fancy. We actually only got steel on half of it at this point because we ran out of time before my husband was deployed. And so it's really not the best thing to look at, but we make excellent.
But you started, and you started anyway. You didn't wait to finish the building. You started when you were able to.
We do what we can, and that is just how it is. We're proud of the product we put out. Our building will catch up, right?
Yep, yeah. And given the nature of your industry, you're a drive-through coffee shop. And you're not just a drive-through coffee shop. You are a drive-through coffee shop.
Yes.
Because all of us know what it takes to start a business. And you've moved from small to a little bit larger. That's pretty exciting stuff.
So we had this construction project come through, and it was really one of those things that I started talking to people about, like, and other business owners, when we kind of came together and was like, what are we going to do? We're never going to survive the summer. And that was the development of the app, which is another story. But I started talking, this is why you need connections. This is why you have to have that presence, whether it be in person or on social media or through a website. You have to have a connection to your customers, because when things get really bad, they need to care that you are going to make it. And, you know, those are the things that
I hear kids. Yep.
There's one.
All right. We're working from home, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, definitely. So share with the audience how they can look you up, call, email, reach out to you, get something shipped, whatever it is.
Yep. So on Facebook, if you were to look up Three Bean Coffee Company, we're in Sisseton. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our website is threebeancoffeeco.com.
The number three are spelled out.
The number 3, beancoffeeco.com. And that
Like Coffee Company Co.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
That will get you to our website. If you go onto the Facebook, you can find a way to download the app, those kinds of things.
We'll talk about that app on another day because it's a very exciting thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, we see it. So Instagram, are you on Twitter?
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook, and then of course your website.
Yep.
Okay. Do you use those social media tools to direct people to your website? Is that how you're doing it? Or are you looking for more engagement in social media?
I do a lot more engagement in social media. The website, I'm starting to push people towards that website, as you can order online, not only like pounds of coffee to ship, but you can order a latte to pick up. As we push kind of towards that online system, and working to keep people's hands off cash and cards, that online system's kind of working towards doing that. So that's one of those things that is kind of a work in progress.
Excellent. Well, be sure to keep lots of notes about how the app is working, and we'll revisit that whole idea, because I'm teasing the audience. As you can see, Sara has developed an app that works for retailers in her businesses in her community. So I look forward to hearing more about that too. Anything else you'd like to add?
Start with connections. That's just how you can build on anything, is that people have to care that Sara makes it. And if they care that Sara makes it, Sara will make it.
Excellent. Sara, thank you so much. I'm glad to have you here today.
Yes.